Hey guys, how's it going? CoderMan here. So I'm involved with this business challenge, and one of the guys actually made a comment a couple days ago that kind of sparked this whole video idea. And that was, should you quit your day job to work on your startup or your small business venture? And of course, like anything, whether it be should you go to college or not, this is my opinion based on my own experience. But I personally think you should quit your full-time venture as long as you're fully committed with what you want to work on and you're financially stable. So you've saved up some money. If you're starting a new company, you want 6 to 8 months in reserve. Unless you're just starting out of high school or college or whatever, you have a family, wife, kids, husband, whatever, I feel like you have to have that protection, especially if you have other people relying on you. But the problem is, if you work for somebody else, your time's always going to be split. You're going to have that day job, and then you're going to come home and you're going to, fiddle around with your business, but you're never really going to put in the time that's required. And despite what people believe, you can't run a business from an island when you're starting out. Now, granted, if you have a well-seasoned, well-oiled machine running, everything's running properly, you can answer emails and take phone calls from a beach. But when you're just getting started out, you really cannot do that. And I know a lot of people in the entrepreneurial space try to sell you this dream that you can live free and have super success and all this other stuff. And while you can be super successful, if you're not fully invested, it's going to take 10, 15, 20 years. Whereas if you just put in, 18 months, 24 months, you'll have so much better success, provided that you have something else paying your bills, be it a spouse, or you are financially stable yourself. The other reason that I don't like the idea of having a startup or something running while you have a full-time job is, like I said, your time is definitely split, but your focus is also split. So let's say that you're working at a software company, but you want to build a tech startup. And of course, you're gleaning knowledge from that job. You're not stealing content because that's illegal and wrong. But you're getting on-the-job training, and that does help. But the problem is, if, let's say, that company gets a new round of funding, or let's say that company does something really interesting, you're always going to have these reasons why maybe your startup's not what you want to do. You want to stay in the comfort zone. And I speak from this from personal experience because I was working with a Boston-based tech startup, and my time was split between that and my own ventures. But I was miserable. I mean, if you just ask my wife, I was absolutely miserable. I was building somebody else's dream, and then at night, when I wasn't spending time with my family, I was trying to build mine, and it just wasn't working. None of it made sense. I kept getting frustrated and disappointed, which I know in entrepreneurship you get frustrated and disappointed, but I was talking like every day I was frustrated and disappointed. And finally I was like, I just had enough, and I had an opportunity that I could walk away and no longer be with that company, so I took it. And it was a huge hit, both financially, mentally, emotionally, all the different emotions that could possibly range from, oh my God, excitement to, oh, holy hell, what have I done? But it was necessary. And the problem is, if you have a day job, I feel like you're always 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and you're just not fully invested. And really, the only thing that ends up happening is your work suffers. So what ends up happening is you're working on your startup in the night hours, and you're just not putting in the time and the effort required. Like I said at the beginning, when you're starting out, you have to put all the time in the world. You have to bail on family parties. You have to, if you're a car guy, you have to bail on car events and car drives and all sorts of things. There are some exceptions to the rule where you could just have, an air quotes overnight success, but it's not likely. Like everything, there are exceptions to the rule. And the one exception that I'll give you for, keeping keeping a day job while you're building a business is if that company needs a ton of startup capital and you don't want to go to investors, or maybe for your line of work, you can't go to investors. Unless you're well off financially and you can just bankroll a company, it's probably a good idea to keep that day job. But just know that by doing that, you're sacrificing your full efforts for the company. Holy Cop City. I know people are struggling with this, so I'm hoping that this content really helped you and maybe answered some of your questions. Like I said at the beginning, it is my personal opinion that you should not keep a day job if you want to run your company. I will say one thing, that I know some other entrepreneurs say that you should burn the bridges. If you have a day job, you should just quit, up and leave, whatever. And I don't agree with that. I agree with maintaining your relationships with everybody, because you never know when something's going to come of it. So if you have a day job and you're really, really serious, then go in and give your 2 weeks notice, or give whatever notice is necessary for that job, and then go and work on your thing full time. Don't take a 2-week vacation or ease your way into your company. If you decide that today, for instance, today's Wednesday, you put in your 2-week notice, 2 Wednesdays from now, you're going at it hard. But tonight, when you go home, you better work on it like you don't have a job anymore, because in 2 weeks, which will not take that long to appear in the calendar, you will not have a job. And I'll be the first to tell you that when you're running a company, or when you're starting to get a company off the ground, and it's no longer a game, like, that's actually how you pay your bills. It is serious stuff. If you have a family, it's even more serious. Maybe they won't agree with your idea, but what they will realize is that you, especially if you are the breadwinner, you have to make money. And a startup may not make money for a couple of years, but most often, if your significant other believes in you, which hopefully you're with somebody that does, they're going to see you pushing forward. And as long as you're financially stable, which I cannot stress that element enough, you'll have a solid start, and you'll win in business every time. So yeah, I hope that helps. Leave a comment if you have one below, like this video, and subscribe if you're new here. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys in another video. Whoa, sliding.